News now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jim Sinkovitz.
And I'm Margie Smith. Our top story tonight, the blizzard of '96.
Here's a scene live outside our studio at this hour as the worst storm to hit the Delaware Valley in recorded history continues to pound our region. The city is basically shut down. A blizzard warning has been declared. It will remain in effect through tomorrow. The snow just keeps falling and falling and falling. A record 26 inches has blanketed the area so far, crushing the previous record of 21 inches set in February 1983. It's not expected to stop for several more hours. PennDOT has been out in full force trying to keep the roadways passable, but within the last hour, Governor Tom Ridge has ordered all state roads in 47 counties closed until noon tomorrow. Only police, emergency vehicles, road crews, and oil and milk deliveries are allowed on state roads. Earlier, he declared a state of emergency for most of central and eastern Pennsylvania. Driving is treacherous. Residents are being urged to stay home. If you go out, as one official put it, you're putting your life in jeopardy. Philadelphia public and parochial schools are closed tomorrow, as are most suburban schools. More on that in just a moment.
But first, to New Jersey, where there is much of the same. Snow and high winds are making for a miserable night. Governor Christie Whitman has also declared a state of emergency. The National Guard has been called in. Schools and government offices have been closed, and shore residents should prepare for severe flooding tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, visibility was minimal along Interstate 95 in Delaware. Most secondary roads throughout the state are impassable. State troopers abandoned their cruisers and hitched rides with National Guardsmen in four-wheel drive vehicles. A state of emergency has also been declared in the Diamond State. 1.5 to 2 feet of snow is expected there by the storm's end.
Now, some answers to the obvious question, what next? The heavy snow and wind will wind down around midnight, tapering off to light snow showers and flurries into tomorrow. Expect very strong winds, perhaps in excess of 40 miles per hour. Which, of course, means all this light powder snow will blow. Watch for snow drifts. And finally, the wind will make for dangerous wind chill. Meteorologist Bill Meck has been watching the snowfall numbers mount all day.
He's here now with the latest on this record-breaking storm. Bill?
This storm has just been fascinating to watch from a purely meteorological standpoint, and hopefully you've been watching it from inside, looking out through the windows, because that's about the only thing you can do with a storm of this magnitude. We're watching yet another heavy snow band reforming now down along the Delmarva Peninsula. It is progressing northward. Now, at the moment, you see that little opening that's taking place there. That's a little dry slot forming, so we're going to see a lull in the snow, at least in the greater Philadelphia area. Larry Cosgrove's out there. Larry.
Okay, Bill. You know, I'm out here in this freezing cold, and it bears in mind that the wind chill factor is as low as what Bill has been telling you. In fact, I would say later tonight we have a chance going to 30 to 35 below because the wind will be gusting up around 45, maybe briefly 50 miles per hour from the northwest. We've seen a turn of the winds now to the north-northwest, so the snow is blowing in a little bit different direction. There is a little bit of a lull, but as I've driven down on the Schuylkill Expressway earlier, the past hour or so, a lot of cars stranded. This may deceive you because when you go outside, there may be a lull where there's no wind, there's no snow. Then all of a sudden it will creep up on you and you'll see zero visibility. And that should continue off and on probably till about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. One more thing we have to point out. With this huge snow cover, the worst in history, it is going to chill the atmosphere. When you get 26 plus inches of snow, we may end up with 28 or 29. The point is all that snow acts as a kind of a cold wave for the area. It just kind of encounters some cold air, engenders cold air, and that cold air will likely stick around for quite a while. So back to you folks in the studio, live and freezing out here in Philadelphia and Center City. I'm Larry Cosgrove.
All right, Larry, you're talking about those snowfall totals as a giant refrigerator. As of 9 o'clock, Radnor in Delaware County, 27 inches of snow. Philadelphia, there's the record of 26 in New Jersey. Pennsauken comes in at 23. Then on down the line, our Inquirer WeatherNet was busy tonight with snowfall amounts in the 1.5 to almost 2.5 foot range. We'll have more on this tremendous snowstorm coming up in just a little bit. Margie?
All right, thanks, Bill. Well, as we said earlier, a snow emergency has been declared for 47 counties in central and eastern Pennsylvania. Tonight, all roadways in the eastern part of the state are closed to all but emergency traffic. Lieutenant Governor Mark Schweiker says the state has put the National Guard on emergency alert. Guardsmen are using Humvees and other all-terrain vehicles to help drivers stranded on state highways. And PennDOT snowplows are being moved in from the western part of the state to help counties here hit hardest by the storm.
Pennsylvania's roadways, PennDOT is in full operation, and we have at least, 1,500 plus pieces of equipment, dozens on the way, so that as we go into the evening, we are making sure roadways are clear for emergency vehicles.
Under the governor's emergency declaration, the Pennsylvania Turnpike is closed to all traffic east of Monroeville. Well, our Bruce Gordon has been out all day checking conditions around the city. He's live tonight in West Philadelphia with the latest. Bruce?
Margie, it is absolutely eerie out here. As we've been telling you, the bitter cold and the blowing winds, the blowing snow, you see some of it drifted here, have turned Philadelphia into a veritable ghost town. You see the Schuylkill Expressway behind me here, and those who have ventured out on the roadways today have found it tough going indeed. PennDOT crews took to the road early and often today. 20 trucks plowing 400 miles of state highways within city limits. A 3 a.m. start helped, but not enough to keep pace with the fast-falling snow.
You don't have to be a mathematician to know that if you plow a pass on a highway, before you get back to it several hours, that you're going to have another couple of inches of snow.
250 city crews made their job easier by making life tough for those who failed to heed warnings about parking on snow emergency routes. At last count, more than 180 vehicles had been towed away. The parking authority was offering no apologies.
It's rough. It's rough, but it has to be done, I guess, you know.
Rough, too, for emergency crews like these men rushing a sick baby to the hospital.
Just go slow. That's all. When we get here, we got to get here.
Most of the city's main arteries were at least passable by early evening, in part because mass transit needed the help. No such help for side streets, where even walking was a major chore.
All the way up and past the snow, then back down and up again past the snow, and it's tiresome.
The massive snowfall left the city's homeless shelters filled to capacity. Here at the Gateway Center, Salvation Army workers fed 50% more men and women than on a normal Sunday.
A lot of people are like hardcore and don't really want to come in out the cold for personal reasons. But today it's cold, it's life-threatening, and they voluntarily came in today. People we've never seen before.
Take a look at this mess and try to remember it could have been worse. As the folks from PennDOT remind us, timing is everything.
Well, if you asked me to pick a 2-foot snowstorm, I'd say give it to me on a Sunday and give it to me while everyone's going to stay home and watch the Eagles play.
The Eagles. We'll get to that disaster a little later. For now, here's what you need to know about life in the city of Philadelphia come Monday morning. City government closed. If you're a city worker, stay home unless you are essential. That is to say, police, fire, snow removal crews. The court system also closed, both criminal and civil. School system, public and parochial, closed. Private industry, check with your boss, but generally speaking, most companies are following the city's lead. Bottom line is this: the more people stay home, the more they stay off these roads, the easier it is for road crews to clear them, get them in good shape for a tolerable Tuesday commute. Jim, back to you.
All right, Bruce Gordon reporting live tonight from West Philadelphia. People hoping to rely on public transit to get around in this mess found themselves pretty much stranded. Planes, trains, and buses all fell victim to the blizzard. Our Sue Clark has been keeping track of transit and is live in the newsroom with the latest tonight. Sue.
Well, Jim, only a few SEPTA buses are running, as well as the Broad Street subway at this point. All rail lines are shut down, and the airport is closed until at least 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Moving out to the runway and blow off that snow on the south side.
The sound of bulldozers replaced the sound of planes taking off at the Philadelphia International Airport today. With 40 miles of concrete to plow, crews worked feverishly trying to move the white stuff aside. But Mother Nature worked just as hard to keep the snow coming. By mid-afternoon, conditions were so bad, the airport completely shut down.
We were just getting de-iced, and they said, that's it, the airport's closed.
Now Sam and Carol Miklas of Glassboro will have to wait until Tuesday morning to begin their Florida vacation. Tammy Tratham and 37 other skiers on their way to Canada were also out of luck.
And we're stuck here.
The flight boards said it all. Cancellation was the word of the day. A total of 250 people were stranded at the airport.
Our crews will continue to work. The earliest we could open would be 6 a.m. tomorrow, but at least by 6 a.m. tomorrow we'll have a better idea of a real time, or we may be open.
Things weren't much better at 30th Street Station. Amtrak service to New York and Washington were running up to an hour late.
Everything is running late, yes.
Some commuters slept, others called friends trying to change their travel plans.
Thank you. It's all right.
Service on SEPTA's Fox Chase R8 line was suspended early. Service on the regional rail and the Market Frankfurt line stopped at 6 tonight. The buses and 40 trolleys which run out of 69th Street Terminal here came to a screeching halt around 2 o'clock this afternoon. People trying to get to Delaware County were stranded. Even some SEPTA bus drivers were out of luck.
Basically, they should never left their house. This is awful out here.
They couldn't move the trolleys at all. The snow was going up into the compressors of the trolleys, so they had to shut them down.
Are you going to be in tomorrow?
Hopefully. We need a paycheck.
Well, who knows? Until the storm subsides, it's difficult for airport and SEPTA officials to tell us when things will get back to normal. But we have some information to help you with tomorrow's commute. So get your pen ready. Here are some numbers. For SEPTA, they will be running on a Saturday schedule tomorrow. That will mean less bus service around the city. The Route 100 Norristown high-speed line will not be operating, as well as the Sharon Hill and Media lines because of track conditions. The subway will operate on 15-minute schedules 4 times beginning at 6 in the morning. The Market Frankfurt L will run half-hour service at the top of the hour beginning at 6. Suburban bus service, including the Victory and Frontier divisions, will operate on a Saturday schedule. Now, Amtrak will be running on a Saturday schedule also tomorrow. At this point, all Metroliner service is canceled. The information number there is 1-800-USA-RAIL. And at the airport, US Air, which handles about 53% of air traffic, doesn't expect to begin doing anything until 6 tomorrow night. The airlines are juggling a lot of cancellations and rebookings, so call early, and that number there is 1-800-PHL-GATE. And finally, New Jersey Transit will also be on a Saturday schedule. The number there is 1-609-968-3817. And with local and state roads shut down at this point, really, no one should be going anywhere anytime soon. Jim, back to you.
All right, Sue, thanks very much. Well, city or suburbs, the entire Delaware Valley was clobbered by today's storm, and that meant trouble getting around just about anywhere you went. Our Dan Fiorucci was out today checking the scene in the suburbs and South Jersey, and he's here live now with the latest. Dan?
Marge, despite the bad weather, and perhaps as you can see, high winds are still blowing snow about out here, people did take to the roadways today. And as we have showed you tonight, there are the fender benders on the street to prove that. And throughout the day, those taking their cars ran through a gauntlet of snowdrifts, some of them knee-high.
For a lot of us, it was a day of getting towed, or on many area roadways, of being forced to abandon your car. The only people who could get about confidently were those with four-wheel drive.
All righty. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Snowplows pushed aside the snow, but it recovered roadways so quickly that the most reliable mode of transportation was the oldest.
I got my own transportation right there.
Your
my
own
own feet up, my boots, not boots, my sneakers.
The snowfall was so heavy that even half a block away, visibility was poor. If you looked a couple of blocks away, most objects were completely invisible.
Despite the low visibility and high drifts, some suburban residents showed real resourcefulness in getting around. Today, you could perhaps be forgiven for mistaking Conshohocken for Barrow, Alaska.
It's the only way to cruise.
But while some were out darting around through the snow, others were quietly sitting, contemplating Mother Nature's grand spectacle.
Snow in my ear.
Contemplating, and in some cases, actually complaining. And speaking of complaining, anyone using on and off ramps to major roadways had plenty to complain about. Every time one car or truck got stuck, plenty of others got stacked up behind.
We got stuck with a whole bunch of traffic on this on-ramp, and basically, we all helped each other get off.
PennDOT had plenty of trucks plowing the streets. Problem was, temperatures were so cold and snow was falling so heavily, one of the main tools of the agency, rock salt, was ineffective most of the day.
In these cold temperatures, the salt doesn't work, and you'd just really go out there, it would melt it, refreeze, and it would make conditions even worse.
With all the bad news on the roadways, it was nice to see that at least some folks found the snow fun.
Now, for those of you not sledding about tonight, PennDOT does have some good news. As the snow diminishes tonight and temperatures warm after sunrise, rock salt will again become effective, and that means that driving conditions throughout the day should improve tomorrow. We can only keep our fingers crossed. Reporting live from West Philadelphia, Dan Fiorucci, Inquirer News Tonight.
All right, thanks, Dan. Coming up on Inquirer News Tonight, more on the blizzard of '96. We'll head to the Jersey Shore, where the storm could bring the worst coastal flooding in more than 4 years.
And all of today's snow couldn't stop some dedicated Eagles fans from rooting for the home team.
As you can see, the snow is falling faster than I can keep it clean.
It's been impossible to keep up with the snow. At one point earlier this evening, the snow was falling at about 2 to 3 inches an hour. The wind is picking up as the snow slows. Roads, sidewalks, and driveways are being covered again with snow drifts.
Most people didn't have to worry about getting to work today, but there are some places they cannot close, blizzard or no blizzard. Lower Bucks Hospital had an overwhelming response today when it called for volunteers with four-wheel drive vehicles to help shuttle medical personnel to and from the hospital. Some of the Good Samaritans dropped everything to offer assistance. They gave up football and other leisurely family activities today to make sure the hospital was properly staffed.
I think it's wonderful. I mean, it's absolutely amazing that so many people would give of their own free time and go out in these kinds of conditions just to help us have staff here so that we can carry on patient care. Get day shift in.
So good that they had almost too many volunteers.
The blizzard has also hit hard at the shore. The storm churned up the surf and brought a somewhat rare sight along the coast, snow on the beach. Strong winds blew snowdrifts across the boardwalks in Ocean City and in Atlantic City, where the casinos also piled up sandbags to protect the buildings from flooding. Well, coastal flood warnings are in effect for all of the Jersey and Delaware shores. Tides could be 2 to 4 feet above normal tonight and even higher tomorrow morning, causing severe flooding and beach erosion. Joining us now by phone from the shore is Michael Sherman from the Atlantic County Office of Emergency Management. Mike, first of all, can you describe for us what are conditions like right now in and around Atlantic City? All right, well, obviously we're having some problems with that. We'll try to get back to Michael Sherman as soon as we can.
That fierce storm that is bombarding our area formed in the Gulf of Mexico, moved up the Carolina coast and has dumped buckets of snow up and down the East Coast, making for a widespread whiteout. So far, at least 7 deaths are being blamed on the storm, 2 in Ohio, 1 each in Washington, D.C., West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. Snowplows are a rare sight in Atlanta, but they were out in full force today, clearing about 1 to 2 inches of snow from the roadways. About 7 inches fell in the Georgia mountains. Meanwhile, states of emergency have been declared in Virginia, West Virginia, and in Maryland. The National Guard has been called in to assist police. In the nation's capital, automobile traffic is at a virtual standstill, so some residents took matters into their own hands. And in New York, it's snowing heavily with about 3 inches falling an hour, but that didn't keep residents from going about their business. Kids took advantage of the snow, sledding in Central Park today. About 18 inches of snow has fallen so far. The city could get more than 2 feet when it's all over. Blizzard and heavy snow warnings have been posted from Kentucky to Connecticut, and as you can see, this blizzard is consuming much of the U.S. Of course, the big snow wasn't the only big story today.
The Eagles faced off against the Cowboys today in Dallas, and it turned out to be a big disappointment. Mike's got the details.
Yeah, a couple of teams that obviously know one another pretty well. Third time they play this season, and basically the Cowboys have more talent. No turnovers today. That's what the Eagles needed. Didn't happen. The Cowboys win. Nice ride for the Eagles, though, but the season came crashing to an end in Dallas, simply overmatched by a better team. The Cowboys had the home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs, and today there was no beating them at Texas Stadium. Eagles, big spark out of the little guy. First quarter, check out Mark McMillan, moving and grooving here after the interception. The tip ball by Bobby Taylor takes it all the way down to the Dallas 43-yard line. Birds were in business. They were down 3-0. Eventually, they would tie the game at 3, but next series, Rodney Peete, the quarterback, the starting QB, gets hit by Darren Woodson, out for the rest of the game with a concussion, and Randall Cunningham plays the rest of the ball game, the last 3 quarters. And after the Eagles field goal did tie it at 3, the Cowboys go on a 27-0 run. This is prime time. Deion Sanders takes one in on the reverse. Deion, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin all scoring TDs today as the boys beat back the Birds. 30-11 was the final. The Eagles season comes to an end. And our Bob Rainey was there until the end. He joins us live from Dallas with more on today's 19-point Eagles loss. Bob?
Well, Mike, the Eagles just didn't have it today. You know, that hard work in Florida just gave us false promises because they weren't ready to play football today. But Coach Ray Rhodes says he was not discouraged, and he says he gives no excuses. They were just beaten by a better team.
A pretty tough one for us today, but first of all, I'd like to say to our fans back in Philadelphia, we made a run at this thing, and you know, I know next year that we'll be a better football team. You know, this has been a great experience for our entire team as far as getting to this point, and we've got a lot of players on here, but I just want to let the fans in Philadelphia know that within the next year or so, we'll get to the top of this thing. This is good for me as a first-year coach to see a lot of things and to be involved in some things, but give me a couple of years and I can get this thing done.
Yes, and a lot of people believe he will get it done. Joining me now is Inquirer columnist Bill Lyon. Bill, 11-7 record for the Eagles, and Ray Rhodes says he's going to get this thing done, and based on what happened this year, he's off to a very good start.
Not the slightest doubt in my mind that he will get it done, and probably quicker than anybody thinks. The foundation has been set, Bob, not the talent foundation. Believe me, there's a lot of work to be done there, but the foundation for a work ethic and the kind of atmosphere that Ray Rhodes sets, that tone has been set. I think he kind of skipped years 1 and 2 of a 5-year plan and went right to year 3. I think what you have to do next is, and what he will do, will be to gut this team all over again. He brought in 34 players last year that were new. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings in at least 24 more this coming year.
Okay, how did he do it? With mirrors or what this year?
Smoke and mirrors and luck and dumb decision by Barry Switzer, dumb decision by Buddy Ryan, a lot of heart, a lot of hustle, and a lot of games they won simply because I think Ray Rhodes willed them to win. He's a man of intense will. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in sports as obsessive, compulsive, driven as he is. And there's really no doubt in my mind that he'll either win a Super Bowl or he'll die in the trying.
All right. Thanks a lot to Inquirer columnist Bill Lyon. Lots more coming up for you later in sports. Reporting live from Dallas, Bob Rainey, Inquirer News Tonight.
And I have to agree with Bill Lyon 100%. Being around Ray Rhodes has been a pleasure all year long. He's a class act, and he will be back next year with the Eagles. Gary Cobb, our Eagles Tonight analyst, joins us later. About 20-25 minutes. We'll wrap up the game and plenty more in sports.
Something to look forward to.
Okay, guys.
All right,
thanks, Mike. Well, win or lose, Eagles fans here at home say they're proud of their team, and if nothing else, the game took their minds off the snow for a while. You may have thought the weather was all that mattered today, but you'd have thought wrong. Just ask the crowd at Pitcher's Pub what the really big story was.
Go Eagles!
These diehard fans were going to come out and root for their team, even if they had to walk a mile in a blizzard to do it.
Actually, I kind of stepped on my front step and just slid down the hill and ended up here.
Well, okay, so most of these fans live in Manayunk, within walking distance of the bar, and so maybe Pitchers just happened to be about the only place open to fill all those Eagles game in a snowstorm needs.
Thanks. Good hot wings, good cold beer. What a warm atmosphere.
Heck, there was even parking on Main Street. And heaven knows Eagles fans needed a little camaraderie today to share in the agony of defeat and the definite non-thrill of a Dallas victory.
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
But maybe it was the bitter cold outside that made the often unforgiving Philadelphia fans feel warm and fuzzy on the inside today.
So what? Maybe they didn't win, but they're still a great team. We still love them. Right?
Yeah, I think Ray Rhodes had a hell of a year.
He'll be back next
God bless him.
And they say they'll be right out front rooting for the team next year.
Eagles!
If they ever make it home.
I ain't ever getting out!
I think we can all relate to that a little bit today.
Well, when we come right back, fire sweeps through an Upper Darby apartment complex, leaving 50 people out in the bitter cold.
And a homecoming for a 14-year-old Philadelphia boy beaten by a gang of teenagers.
Believe it or not, the blizzard of '96 may not be done. Snow re-intensifying to our south. I'll have details coming up.
Is gray hair sneaking up on you, right under your nose, making you look too old?
Whoa, it is sneaking up on me. Up here, too.
You need Just for Men Color Gel, made for the hard-to-color gray of mustaches and sideburns. Simply brush in this no-drip gel, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Gray's gone. Your mustache and sideburns blend perfectly with your natural hair color.
That gray won't sneak up on me again.
Just for Men Color Gel, the sure thing for a natural look.
On the next U.S. Customs, a smuggler of human cargo cons immigrants in a deadly game.
Get out of the boat!
The discovery of his victims leads agents to the arrest.
He killed my baby.
Then,
I didn't want my son.
customs agents rescue a child from a drug-dealing criminal.
He was a real dirtbag.
And bring the kidnapper to final justice. True Stories with host Stephen J. Cannell.
Join me for the next U.S. Customs Classified.
Tonight at 11 on WB 17.
One person is dead tonight and 3 are injured in an explosion at a Burlington County metal fabrication factory. The 3-alarm fire broke out this morning. Fire officials aren't sure what caused the explosion. The 3-story building was engulfed in flames when they arrived. One unidentified male was pronounced dead on arrival at a New Jersey hospital. 3 factory employees were treated and released for smoke inhalation. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Fire officials believe it may have been caused by a natural gas leak.
Investigators in Upper Darby Township tonight are trying to determine what sparked an early morning fire at a Drexel Hill apartment complex that forced more than 50 residents from their homes out into the snow and wind. It took more than 150 volunteer firefighters from 6 companies 7 hours to bring the 3-alarm blaze at the Tall Trees Apartments under control.
Started around 6 a.m. this morning, heavy smoke in the attic area on the arrival of the first-in units. The fire vented itself through the attic. Everyone's been evacuated from the building. Everyone's been accounted for.
Authorities believe the fire broke out in the second-floor apartment of an elderly woman who was not at home at the time. Powerful winds accompanying the brutal winter storm fueled the flames and made fighting the blaze at times next to impossible.
The line's freezing up, the hydrant's freezing up, having the water lines freezing up, just getting inside, the firemen falling. We're having problems with that right now.
Can you give us an estimated time till we start receiving people?
Many sought refuge at nearby St. Dorothy's Elementary School. The Red Cross provided assistance.
We have about 20 or 25 people here that are staying here. We've had about 73 that's checked in.
I might have lost my car, though, because the car is parked underneath the apartment building that was burned. So I don't know yet.
Officials say it is still too early to determine the extent of the damage, but most importantly, all the residents are safe, even the animals.
They're being taken care of. I hope this won't be too long. She doesn't like to be out. She's a homebody.
2 firefighters were treated for smoke inhalation and released. And this reminder from fire officials, if you live near a fire hydrant, please clear the snow and ice away.
One firefighter suffered minor injuries this morning in a 3-alarm fire in Camden. No one else was injured, and the fire spread through a 2-story row house. The fire was brought under control in less than 2 hours. Fire officials aren't sure where the fire began. The cause is still under investigation. Another New Jersey family's home was destroyed by fire today. This one occurred just before noon in Haddon Heights. The 2-alarm fire was brought under control in about an hour. Fire officials are still looking for the cause of that blaze.
A 45-year-old Bucks County man is in stable condition tonight after being shot by police in a standoff. The gunfire broke out last night at the Chesterfield Apartments in Levittown. Police say William Speakman contacted them about a domestic dispute with his girlfriend. When police arrived, he told them he was armed with handguns, shotguns, and a rocket launcher. Speakman fired repeatedly at the officers who approached him. He was later shot after refusing several requests by police negotiators to drop his weapons and surrender. No police officers were injured. Funeral services for slain Philadelphia police officer Laretha Baird have been postponed because of the storm. Baird was supposed to be buried tomorrow. Now services have been rescheduled for 11 a.m. Tuesday at Mount Airy Church of God in Christ in West Oak Lane. Baird was shot and killed last week responding to a bank robbery in Feltonville. 2 suspects are in custody. Police are still looking for a third.
14-year-old Jason Wall was released from the hospital today, just about a week after he was attacked by a gang of teens and knocked unconscious. Jason's doctor says he was making good progress, but she says it will take several weeks or even months before he fully recovers from his injuries. Jason suffered a severe concussion after he was beaten in the head while he was sledding at this spot across from St. Matthew's Church in Mayfair shortly after Christmas. Police say as many as 40 teens may have been involved in the attack so far. There's been only one arrest.
When we return on Inquirer News tonight, if you're wearing fur, this weather's not bad at all.
And later in the hour, a new chapter in the Free Willy saga.
This portion of the Inquirer News Tonight is brought to you by your local Dodge dealers. Dodge, the more things change, the more they look like the new Dodge.
How can this be Car of the Year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers, or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
Right in front of your eyes, America's Most Wanted showed you the crime, gave you the clues, and started the chase. Now, host John Walsh brings you The Capture, America's Most Wanted, Final Justice. Meet the heroes, the victims, the survivors, and witness the whole story from the tragic beginning to the triumphant end. America's Most Wanted, Final Justice.
Weeknights at 11:30 on WB 17.
On a day like today, is it any wonder no one was singing their theme song? It was just a little too cold outside for anyone to wish for that home on the range where the buffalo roam. These furry guys belong to a Montgomery County farmer, and the cold doesn't seem to bother them one bit. Did someone say dinner's inside? They're all running somewhere. I don't know.
You know, this is the worst storm I think I've ever lived through.
Well, this is, the worst one on record in the Philadelphia area. In fact, many parts of the Mid-Atlantic have seen their heaviest 24-hour snow ever. And it looks like the snow is going to be continuing at least for a few more hours. And the scary thing is the new computer run that came in just a few minutes ago is showing more intense snowfall during the overnight hours. We'll detail why in just a second. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we had today. 21 was all we managed for the high. That is the current reading, by the way. 12 the low. That's the Arctic air that helped fuel this immense storm. 38, 24 should be our normals. The snowfall officially 26 inches. You see that right, 26, and it's still snowing. 21 at the moment around the Philadelphia area, and other temperatures around the Delaware Valley and beyond. 21 Willow Grove, and we haven't been able to get a snowfall amount out of the Jersey coast and southern Delaware, but we may see that in the area again Friday.
What great news.
All right, Bill. And once again, as we reported already, we want to remind you that Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge has ordered all Pennsylvania roadways in the Philadelphia area shut down. That means everything. That includes I-95, the Schuylkill, Vine Street, the Blue Route, and the Turnpike. If you are not an emergency worker or a police officer or a PennDOT crew heading to work, you can be fined for being out on those roads tonight. Also, airport officials will meet at 10 a.m. tomorrow to decide when and if to reopen the airport.
All right, when we return, meteorologist Larry Cosgrove with more on the blizzard of 96.
And not everyone chose to spend this day warm and cozy inside. We'll meet some people happy to be out in the snow.
Story on Inquirer News Tonight. The blizzard of 96 has crippled the Delaware Valley, closing schools, state and city offices, most businesses, and the airport, and now all roads. A snow emergency has been declared in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. National Guard troops have been put on alert as a record snowfall continues to rain down. Many motorists have already abandoned their cars on roadways, making snow removal even more difficult for PennDOT crews.
Our meteorologist Larry Cosgrove has been out in the snow much of today. He's still out there now, live in West Philadelphia with an update. Larry?
That's right, Margie. I'm at 30th Street Station right now, and I can tell you that the cold and wind has not let up. The snow has been lighter. We have a snow pellet pattern developing right now, but that'll quickly change back to a plain old moderate to heavy snow. We may have, as Bill indicated, another 3 to 4 hours of heavy accumulating snow, adding to our already incredible record snowfall total. Couple things I want to touch up on very quickly. One is hypothermia. You cannot believe what is happening out here as you're outside and the wind and cold act on your skin. It drops your body heat. Take it from me. Also, exertion. Some of you may have the idea tomorrow morning of wanting to get out and shovel the snow. Forget about it. Wait till the wind dies down and the blowing and drifting stops. That won't happen until probably sometime tomorrow night or Tuesday. But I can tell you this, the storm is winding down a little bit. 96 blizzard, however, the worst on record.
All right, Larry Cosgrove live in West Philadelphia. Thanks, Larry.
Well, despite the snow of historic proportions, people were out moving around earlier today, picking up last-minute supplies, gassing up, or just going out for a walk.
We're idiots. We're going to see the game with friends.
Carrie Bullrick and her husband Fred had one last stop to make this morning, filling up the gas tank at this convenience store before settling in to watch the Eagles and Cowboys.
Go Eagles, I don't know. It's an uphill battle, just like the snow.
Yes, I am cold.
Nicole Clark wasn't clapping for the snowplows moving along City Avenue today. She was trying to stay warm in the driving snow and freezing temperatures.
I even have my kitchen mittens on, okay? Do you see this? I am cold.
She had lots of company out here today. The Lions were back at this Acme food market all morning.
What do you got here in the bag?
Huh?
Just tell me what you got.
Oh, some grub. Some grub. A lot of things that I didn't have and I know I need right now.
We're out shopping. We were going to go yesterday, but it was so crowded that we decided not to.
You waited till today?
Yeah.
Trying to get a few things in.
Yeah.
I should have went last night, but I didn't. I waited. And I should have waited.
Yeah.
But they're the only ones that enjoy this kind of stuff. I don't.
Hello from the North Pole.
It seemed like the North Pole in this driving storm. Snowplows were busy in area shopping centers, trying to stay ahead of the storm. But it kept piling up like these 15-foot mounds that will probably be around here through March.
This is unbelievable. This is so cold and so much snow. Oh, not nice.
I've never seen snow like this on TV. So, this is pretty good. This is pretty good.
It's good for kids looking to make a few bucks shoveling driveways, but not so good for people who had to walk home today after work because the bus wasn't there.
Yeah, trying to make it on into this deep snow. It's deep out here. I mean, it's deep. And it's still coming down heavy.
And that was 10 hours ago, and it hasn't let up. It's still coming down, and it's even getting deeper. Record snowfall.
Unbelievable. Well, up next on Inquirer News Tonight, it's Eagles tonight.
The Cowboys dash the Eagles' dreams of reaching the Super Bowl. What went wrong? Mike Dardis and Bob Rainey have post-game reaction from Dallas coming up next.
The reviews are in, and Compton's 1996 Interactive Encyclopedia is a winner. Winner of PC Computing's MVP Award for Best Business or Reference CD-ROM. The critics agree. The best keeps getting better. 4 stars, 2 thumbs up, perfect for homework, and best for overall family use.
It's got everything.
For a limited time, get a free World Atlas, plus get $10 if you trade in your old encyclopedia. Then get ready for the ultimate all-in-one homework resource, Zach's Look It Up. Coming soon from Compton's.
Will's got a brand new look.
It's like the whole Jackson family could live in those pants.
And a brand new beaver.
Get rid of that thing.
What do you think? Everybody's gonna think I'm a drug dealer? Why wouldn't they think I'm a doctor?
Because everyone knows Buckwheat never went to medical school.
Now Uncle Phil's had it.
As long as you live in my house, you will do what I say.
Maybe I won't be in your house then.
Good.
And Will's on his own.
You are too close to the vehicle.
Oh, really now?
His freedom's short-lived. Fresh Prince.
Monday at 6 on WB 17.
Let's go, baby!
For the Eagles season, and of course Gary Cobb's going to join us for the playoffs next weekend and then the Super Bowl, so we'll still talk football with him. But there you have it, guys.
Great season.
Great season.
Yeah, something to look forward to next year.
Exactly. 10 wins and a playoff win against Detroit.
All right.
Okay.
Well, there's more to come on Inquirer News Tonight. A final check of the weather in just a moment.
And a really big movie star moves to a new home.
Well, Bill Meck is here with a final look at the forecast, and a big one it's been. You got all excited earlier, huh?
Oh, you definitely.
You live for these things.
This is what weather guys, this is what we do, and this is what we're talking about tonight. Still some more snow coming in. The blizzard of 96, not quite over yet. Quick check of the radar will show you indeed that snow has reformed to the south over the Delmarva Peninsula, and that snow shower activity, in fact, very heavy snow will be moving up through Delaware and New Jersey, coming into the Delaware Valley and points to the west. We could see another 3 to 6 inches of snow tonight on top of the 26 that has fallen already. For tonight, that snow will be slowly tapering off. 18 degrees with blizzard conditions, and of course the state of emergency in effect. As we look at your morning, down to snow showers and windy, 18 to 21. And then for tomorrow afternoon, well, still those snow flumes flying, or a flurry or two, breezy conditions, 26 for the high temperature tomorrow. And with a couple of seconds here, this is my last evening with you all here. It's only been a short time in Philadelphia, but I've really enjoyed you. And just one note, you have the best meteorologist in the country here in Larry Cosgrove. Take advantage of him and enjoy what he can bring.
Well, we've enjoyed working with you. Best of luck in Indianapolis. You'll be leaving this big snowstorm, but listen, you got the Colts, right?
Yeah, Blair and I work in tag team tonight. I mean, that's coming full circle. We worked together 13 years ago, and him being my mentor, I mean, it's been a lot of fun, actually, even though it's been a lot of snow.
Good luck, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Well, the world's most famous killer whale, the star of the movie Free Willy, is on his way to a new home tonight. He's leaving the Mexican amusement park where he's been living for the past several years in a tank that's too small for him. Keiko, as the whale is known, was put in a special sling overnight and hoisted into a container filled with water, foam, rubber, and chopped ice. He's being flown to a new state-of-the-art facility in Oregon where he'll no longer have to perform. Keiko had been suffering from a variety of health problems, including a chronic skin condition. Whale experts say Keiko should fare better in a larger cold water tank. I don't think I would swap Mexico for Oregon tonight. No. That's it for us for now. Thank you for joining us.
And for all of us here at Inquirer News Tonight and the Philadelphia Inquirer, have a good night.
Travel is intended to keep roads clear for emergency vehicles until conditions improve and to ease the job of the army of snowplows struggling to clear away the mounds of snow. Most major roadways like this stretch of I-95 in Bucks County had been cleared by mid-afternoon, but in many cases blowing and drifting snow brought the plows back out again. In New Jersey, the digging out will be going on all night. A whopping 33 inches of snow fell in Cherry Hill, and in Burlington County, a woman was injured after stepping in front of a snowplow in Mapleshade. Meanwhile, down the shore, tide several feet above normal caused minor flooding, turning snow-covered streets into slushy messes. Some shore residents had to be evacuated by the National Guard. A shift in the wind spared the severe flooding predicted last night, but rough surf chopped away at the beaches. A foot of snow fell on the Atlantic City boardwalk.
In Delaware, the state of emergency will continue until tomorrow at 6 in the morning. After that, the Diamond State will be under a limited state of emergency. Only non-essential state employees will be expected to report to work.
Well, for a look at what is expected overnight and tomorrow, meteorologist Larry Cosgrove joins us now. Larry?
Stephen, Margie, I have some optimism in this forecast. First, we have to tackle the actual accumulations around the Delaware Valley. The highest seem to be up toward the Lehigh Valley, a little bit northeast in Hunterdon County, New Jersey. Jordan White up in Lehigh County and Nazareth had 29.2 inches. The least was Gary Pirate in Billis, New Jersey at 10.8. Now, to prove the point, the storm is over, gone, history, forgotten. Good riddance, I say. Look at the radar summary here. You see all the snow bands moving away. Pennsylvania, Jersey, Delaware, totally clean. Bigger problem for you tonight going into tomorrow will be that cold. That's going to lead to some freezing of the water around the roadways. You'll see temperatures right now in the singular numbers in teens, maybe a low late tonight 9. I'll be back later in the program. We'll talk about any future snow and cold coming up. Stephen, Marge?
Thanks, Larry. Well, area hotels are filled with people wanting and waiting to get out of town tonight. Travel by plane, rail, and bus has been cut off for the most part, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Jim Sinkovitz is at 30th Street Station tonight with the latest on the travel schedules. Jim?
Margie, as you said, it has been virtually impossible to move around or out of Philadelphia over the last 2 days. There have been no flights in and out of Philadelphia International Airport since early yesterday. There has been some limited Amtrak train service, and SEPTA has been operating some commuter runs as well. Things are expected to improve greatly by tomorrow, but it will be some time before everything is back to normal. At Philadelphia International Airport, hundreds of flights have been canceled since early yesterday. 250 pieces of snow removal equipment have been going strong. 500,000 tons of snow have been trucked off the 40 miles of concrete runways and tarmac. Thousands of passengers have gone home or are waiting it out in area hotels. This couple from Miami were in their jet ready for takeoff early yesterday when the airport was shut down.
Hopefully, we'll get out tomorrow morning. We are not sure because they are not sure about how the planes are going to stack up.
One runway was open tonight at 6 o'clock, and though airlines here are not operating any flights until tomorrow at the very earliest.
This will give us a chance for the airlines to bring in empty aircraft, ferry in empty aircraft for tomorrow morning's push. But we strongly advise passengers to please contact your airlines regarding specific flights.
At 30th Street Station, dozens of passengers milled around because of delays and limited service on the Northeast Corridor. Some passengers like Peter Wawinski of Pittsburgh won't be able to get out until early tomorrow.
It's not good. I have to be in Pittsburgh for work tomorrow, and my girlfriend has to be in class tomorrow, and it's not good.
Amtrak says it expects to restore most service by tomorrow with some delays. Metroliner service is also expected to resume. SEPTA was able to operate on a limited schedule today. Tomorrow, the Market Frankfurt L trains will run every half hour. The Broad Street subway will operate on 10-minute intervals. Trolleys will be running on limited service. City Transit bus service will begin limited operations tomorrow morning. Regional rail lines will operate on an enhanced Saturday schedule. However, there will be no R6 or R8 train service until further notice. Now, the best advice if you plan to travel tomorrow is to call ahead if you have any questions about schedules. You can reach Amtrak at 1-800-USA-RAIL. You can call the airport at 1-800-PHL-GATE. Information about SEPTA schedules, you can call area code 215-580-7800 and 609-968-3817 for questions about New Jersey Transit. Again, because of the severe storm, you might want to give yourself a few extra minutes to move around tomorrow. One late addition, U.S. Air is expecting 2 flights in tonight, we understand, from Los Angeles and Las Vegas. They expect to have service tomorrow, as well as the other major airlines beginning tomorrow. But again, call before you go to the airport. That's a story from here. Back to you.
Thank you, Jim. And transportation problems have caused other problems, of course. All Philadelphia public and parochial schools will be closed again tomorrow, as are Camden public schools. Check with your suburban district, but many have indicated they will not open tomorrow. Drexel, Temple, and Penn State have also canceled all classes. City government offices in Philadelphia civil and criminal courts will also be closed. Pennsylvania state offices will be closed in Harrisburg, Reading, and Philadelphia. New Jersey and Delaware state legislatures not meeting tomorrow. There will be no trash collection in Philadelphia on Tuesday. Among the offices definitely open tomorrow, the Delaware County Courthouse will open at 10 a.m., and the post office expects to be fully operational tomorrow, so all employees are expected to report to work. And New Jersey state offices will be open tomorrow. State employees will also be expected to work.
Philadelphia officials are hoping for federal disaster aid to help pay for the massive job of removing all this snow. At a City Hall news conference, Mayor Ed Rendell couldn't put a price tag on the removal effort. He says the city has 430 vehicles on the road doing battle against the snow.
We are facing 10 to 12 foot high drifts in many secondary streets and even on many primary arteries in the city of Philadelphia. And one of our major problems right now is our vehicles are getting stuck. Our vehicles themselves are getting stuck. And sometimes we'll send a tow truck out, it will get stuck. We'll have to send a plow out, it gets stuck.
For now, city crews are concentrating on snow emergency routes and major arteries used by SEPTA vehicles. Until conditions ease, the mayor is asking residents not to call 911 unless it's an absolute emergency. He's also urging residents to remove snow from around fire hydrants in their block to save valuable time in case of a fire.
The storm surpassed the 1983 blizzard of 21 inches, but that one was worse in some respects because it wasn't forecast, and it happened on a Friday when people were in school and at work. Road clearing was impossible. Well, tonight, road crews do report great progress. Pennsylvania Turnpike will reopen at 6 tomorrow morning. When the state of emergency is lifted, PennDOT says most major arteries like the Schuylkill Expressway, I-95, Vine Street, and the Blue Route should be clear or at least passable, although probably not all lanes. In New Jersey, the DOT is reporting similar progress. Crews are still towing away abandoned cars in some places in order to get all the ramps cleared, but most of the major roads will be passable. The New Jersey Turnpike reopens at 5 a.m. And in the Diamond State, the roads are open tonight. Delaware transportation officials say they're in pretty good shape on the primary roads, but drivers are still urged to be careful. Road conditions are improving because road crews who spend hours and hours out in the blizzard, often tandem or phalanx plowing, Our Bruce Gordon was out there with him, and he joins us now from University City. Bruce?
Steve, take a look over my shoulder, if you will, at the Schuylkill Expressway, and you'll see that for the first time in a couple of days, you can actually see the expressway. That's good news. It's been a pretty productive day for the crews out clearing roads and highways in our region, in part because most motorists have paid attention to the rules and stayed out of the way. Now, even with that cooperation, this road clearing effort has not been easy. Bone-weary PennDOT crews were out in force again today, many working double shifts in place of co-workers buried at home. Slowly but surely, area highways began to emerge, but not without a fight for Mother Nature.
The visibility when we plow and the wind blow and everything, that's about the roughest part. That's about the roughest part out there.
That and the hundreds of abandoned cars that turned the region's roadways into obstacle courses.
We're tired and we're plowing. And when we go past these cars, we can't do the sequence of plowing we'd like to do.
Case in point, the battle to remove this Plymouth, dustered by 5 feet of snow on a Schuylkill Expressway on-ramp. With all but emergency vehicles banned from the highway, closing this ramp should not have caused much fuss. But within minutes, a line of impatient drivers had formed. Among them, this doctor headed to a Camden hospital.
Patients in the intensive care unit and the consultations that haven't been seen yet.
Others with less at stake but more horsepower decided to take matters into their own hands. All the while, Ted the tow truck operator worked his magic, making a car emerge from a snowbank.
You gotta maneuver it, you gotta wiggle it, you gotta jiggle it, you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get that thing out.
The city's major arteries, snow emergency routes like Broad Street, were snow-covered but passable by midday. The biggest danger, pedestrians forced off the sidewalks by deep drifts. Deborah John's 3-year-old traveled by grocery cart.
All the summer long, he's trying to keep the kids out the street, and here he is, we got to walk in the street.
Extenuating circumstances, though, right?
Yes, it is.
City officials say circumstances will require patience by side street residents. Snow moved off the major arteries may well be dumped on your block.
So that we're not only not reaching the side streets, but we're blocking the side streets in.
Here in the 1000 block of Wingo-Hocking, for example, most parked cars are buried nearly to the roof line. As you can see, this owner has decided to leave himself a little landmark. It may be the only way he finds his car before the spring thaw. Hundreds of tons of snow that has been cleared from city streets is being dumped off the Market Street Bridge into the Schuylkill River. Efficient, but not without its own problems.
The light, the snow stick to the truck, and it's tough to come out. When the dump truck goes up, it will not dump.
Oh, it dumped well enough for Chris and Karen Ludden.
It makes me feel like a little kid, all this, when the snowdrift is bigger than you are, you know, and to see all these big trucks, you know.
They spent the afternoon after the blizzard of '96 watching mountains of problems turn into molehills.
Wow, look how high up that goes. There it goes.
Now, that snow dumping operation continues even as we speak. Permissible, according to environmental officials, because there's been little or no salting going on. They're simply dumping frozen water into the river. One final reminder, that driving ban is no joke. I've seen folks out at the video rental store, for example, tonight. Bad idea. Lots of plows out on the roads and lots of pedestrians, as we talked about. The more cars, the more danger. If you have to be out, fine. If you don't, stay home. Margie?
All right, thank you, Bruce. Well, this record snowstorm is already being blamed for at least 3 deaths in Philadelphia. A last-minute trip to the grocery store at the height of the blizzard proved deadly for 64-year-old Elizabeth D'Alessandro. The Roxborough Avenue resident was found last night frozen to death in a snowbank outside her home. Another victim, 59-year-old Howard Mansfield, was found dead of hypothermia on the steps of his home on South 15th Street last night. And police are still trying to identify another man found dead on South 9th Street outside Gino's Steaks.
As people dig out from the blizzard of '96, some may be having an easier time than others, of course. Namely, people in the suburbs seem to be faring a bit better. Our Dan Fiorucci is live now here in the big bad city to tell us why. Dan?
Steve, right now here in the big bad city, this is the bane of every driver's existence. Plowed snow that's got cars blocked in. For whatever reason, piles of snow like this seem to have locked in more cars right in the middle of the street here in Philadelphia than in the surrounding suburbs.
On Bryn Mawr Avenue in West Philadelphia, the street looked like a parking lot as people tried to unbury their cars. Lots of folks were less than thrilled with the city's cleanup efforts.
Ain't doing nothing. Ain't doing nothing. We're trapped, we're stuck.
But walk just 1 block from where all the cars are stuck over in West Philadelphia to this side of Bryn Mawr Avenue, the same street, over in Bala Cynwyd, and what do you see? No cars clogging the roadways and the streets relatively passable. The obvious question is, what gives?
Well, for one thing, areas such as Bala Cynwyd and Narberth are more affluent than West Philadelphia. And that means more people are able to keep their cars off the streets and in private driveways.
Sure, that's always assistance. The more cars we can keep off the street, not only driving but parking, it's much easier for our trucks to maneuver down there. They can go a little faster. They don't have to worry about bouncing off the cars that may be parked on the side of the street. And this snow will push a plow truck around.
To be sure, things weren't perfect in Lower Merion Township.
Well, we hit gold. There it is.
There were plenty of cars plowed into position in parking spaces along the streets.
The car will be clean.
But by and large, there were no abandoned cars in the middle of the street.
Higher taxes?
And while some folks had their own theories about why the suburbs were more passable today, others could care less.
Now, if you've got a buried car out there, you may want to yell, ah, after trying to dig out today, but there is good news. By dusk, many of those abandoned cars in the middle of Philly's streets had been removed. Reporting live from West Philadelphia, Dan Fiorucci, Inquirer News Tonight.
Thank you, Dan. You know, patience is still the watchword, too. If your heater problems are bad, the crews can't get out to fix you, for example, so patience, the watchword for the next few days.
And coming up on Inquirer News tonight, much more on the blizzard of '96.
We're not the only ones digging out. Find out how this massive storm affected the rest of the nation.
I'm Bob Rainey in Dallas, where Eagle fans are stranded in the enemy city. We'll tell you how they're coping coming up next.
While the streets may be empty, supermarkets, hardware stores, and hotels are not. I'm Fran Viola. I'll have that story coming up.
And people needing to get to the hospital had a big problem through the snow. I'm Ann Reynolds. I'll have that story coming up on Inquirer News tonight.
Don't forget the big screen TVs. It's January clearance time at the Wiz, and the warehouse is jumping. We're moving all our merchandise into our stores before inventory. Get the camcorders on. Everything's going. Every brand, every model. Everything from VCRs to cellular phones, video movies, cassettes, and compact discs. The best thing is we're slashing prices on hundreds of items. We want to sell them, not count them. The January in-store warehouse clearance sale. Nobody beats the Wiz.
To our friendship, past, present, and future.
They've been lifelong friends.
May their marriage be blessed.
All my dreams are coming true.
On January 21st, 3 secrets will divide them.
A little thing like wedding vows won't keep us apart.
And alter their destinies.
Everything I ever wanted, Reese always got.
You're a backstabbing piece of white trash.
Travis, don't you know I'm hooked on you?
Enter a new world from Aaron Spelling. Savannah.
Premieres January 21st at 8.
Philadelphia was the blizzard's bullseye, but the storm's impact stretches across much of the United States. So far, it's claimed 40 lives. The blizzard ripped across Georgia, West Virginia, Ohio, and Massachusetts. 8 states have declared states of emergency. Baird, West Virginia reports 38 inches of snow. Some parts of that state claim 43. New York City schools were closed for the first time in 18 years. With 20 inches of snow in Central Park, cross-country skiing was one of the best ways to cross town today. And ironically, there was no ice skating at Rockefeller Center. And for anyone who happened to be stuck at Newark International, there was a whole lot of waiting going on. All planes have been grounded. Airports from Washington to Boston closed. Worshippers of this Virginia church, meanwhile, were out of luck today. If they wanted to stop by and say a prayer for the snow to go away, the whole building was condemned after its roof fell in. And in California, they had to cope with sun, and more sun. It was a record 87 degrees in Los Angeles today, and we heard the water was a little cold. Too bad, but that didn't stop thousands from flocking to the beach.
Wimps. Well, there were people shopping today, mostly for essentials, food and things to move or melt snow. We sent our Fran Viola out today to see what things were in big demand and short supply. What did you find, Fran?
Well, Steve, believe it or not, a lot of folks were caught off guard by the storm, some waking up to find they were low on food and other supplies. The good news is quite a few supermarkets and hardware stores were able to open. The bad news is they found themselves running low on some essentials. While there was only spotty traffic on the roads today, it was another story in the supermarkets. Many were open, but only a few were accessible. The Superfresh at 5th and Pine was packed, mainly because you could walk there. We found long lines of folks who were a little anxious.
A lot of people were kind of, you know, basically complacent about it, you know, because of all the other false alarms. And now I think they're saying, well, I better get out and do something.
While the lines were long, most supermarkets started running short on the basics. Bread shelves were bare, milk was missing in action, and things may not get much better anytime soon.
The whole store is going to be wiped out. We haven't been able to get delivery for like 3 days.
Despite the chaos, folks seem to be understanding.
Matter of fact, a lot of the customers are thanking us for being open.
I think that's the better buy there.
Over at Washington Square Hardware, fire logs and ice melt were flying out of the store, but they weren't the biggest sellers. On Saturday, the store had more than 150 shovels. Today, they had 6 left.
My neighbors usually do it for me, actually.
But this year?
It's just gotten ridiculous. I mean, it's really bad this time, and I thought I'd help out, so we invested in one.
Area hotels also report they're running low on everything from toothpaste to food because supply trucks have not been able to get in. At the Holiday Inn on City Line Avenue, manager Zeke Resitar found himself having to run out to the grocery store.
We got few things, but grocery store was out of most of the things. We got a few things for breakfast tomorrow. We got to feed the people. Most of the restaurants are closed, so we're trying to do the best we can.
Now, businesses like the Holiday Inn, which are on major roadways, are expecting deliveries tomorrow. The problem will be for markets like the Superfresh on smaller streets. They don't know how soon those roads will be clear and how soon the supply trucks can get in. Steve, Margie?
Thanks, Fran. Well, snow-covered roads could have prevented hundreds of medical workers from getting to their patients today, but Good Samaritans and employees willing to work double shifts came to the rescue. Ann Reynolds has that story.
They may have an urgent need to get there, but it was a tough drive today through the snow for rescue crews. These paramedics were called to this nursing home in Wayne. Luckily, it wasn't an emergency. It was even difficult maneuvering the stretcher to and from the ambulance.
1, 2, 3, down.
Tony Ibenberg has been on the job since late Saturday night. Thanks to the bad weather, there was no one available to relieve him. He's tired, but he was glad he was able to help. How'd you do it?
Nah, well, just kept on the gas pedal until she wouldn't stop.
And prayed that it would move.
Yeah, exactly. And we got stuck a couple times, but nothing that we dug ourselves out and just continued on our way.
Area emergency management officials say the huge snowfall slowed response time, but not critically. They say they were ready, even though one pregnant woman was taken to a Philadelphia hospital, not in an ambulance, but on a sled. But even when the ambulances finally made it through the snow here to the hospital, people needing help faced another problem.
Good.
Snow-covered roads kept Joan Quinn from getting to work on her own. She's a labor and delivery nurse here at Bryn Mawr Hospital. But Quinn finally made it to work, and now, after a 12-hour shift, is going home thanks to some Good Samaritans.
Oh, that's great. I'm thrilled. It'll be really good to get home.
And sleep in your own bed?
Yes, exactly. Oh, sure. I'm looking forward to that.
How far down?
All the way.
Okay.
Quinn and her co-workers were helped out by volunteers like Mark Pita. Almost all area hospitals were hit with a manpower shortage due to the snow. 90% of Bryn Mawr's essential workers couldn't make the drive in. Pita is a mortgage broker. With his company closed today, he decided to do some good with his four-wheel drive.
you know, there's a lot of people out there who need the help, I guess, and there's obviously, being in a hospital, they could use all the help they can get. So it's a rewarding day.
PETA and the other drivers say they will keep their shuttle service going until they're not needed anymore. It may mean driving all day, but PETA doesn't mind.
And I hope actually we get another one of these. One a month would do me just fine. I happen to enjoy driving around in this kind of weather.
Yeah. Good luck. How do I get in?
But with another storm in the forecast for the end of the week, PETA may get his wish and a lot more. In Havertown, Ann Reynolds, Inquirer News Tonight.
Still a young winter. Now, those kinds of stories, getting around, not getting around, having babies in storms like this, watching out for your pets in a blizzard, you'd read about those kinds of things today. There's a problem, though. The storm shut down all deliveries of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Even the post office motto, neither rain nor sleet nor snow, didn't hold any water today. Our Sue Clark joins us now from the newsroom. Sue?
Well, Steve, this is the first time many at the paper can ever remember delivery being totally shut down. There's been delays in the past, but nothing like this. The snow took its toll, and the papers and the mail were not getting out.
It just has to be there by Thursday. Thursday? That's a problem.
A problem because no mail was being delivered throughout the Delaware Valley or the entire Northeast because of the storm. Usually 5 million pieces of first-class mail pass through here every day, but not today.
The first problem we have is the metropolitan area has been basically shut down. We knew right away that our large vehicles were not going to be able to make it on the streets.
The Center City Post Office was open for business. Mac Edison even rode his bike to work, but here's how he spent the day.
Actually, I'm supposed to be on vacation, but I couldn't leave, so I decided to come in. This is the 4th or 5th blizzard that I've been involved in. I worked for the Post Service for 24 years, and this is about as bad as it gets.
Bad because usually this office has about 1,000 workers on a given night. Over the past 24 hours, only 250 made it in. There's no guarantee when priority mail will arrive.
All right, so I'll take my chances. 13, 14, 15, 5.
Only a few stragglers braved the snow to mail something, but why?
Basically contest letters. I'm trying my luck.
At the Philadelphia Inquirer printing plant in Upper Merion, truck set loaded with papers. Best to read it every day took a back seat to the storm. This is the paper you missed with your cup of coffee this morning. More than 318,000 of them were printed last night, but the paper wasn't able to get them out because of the snow. Once the presses start rolling on Tuesday's edition, both copies will be delivered together.
It just may be delivered a little bit later than they're accustomed to.
We'll just inform them that you work for the Inquirer, that we have, you know, we are allowed to be on the road to go to work. We do have a paper to put out.
And some people were pretty clever. They went online to read the paper today. The Inquirer and the Daily News recorded more than 100,000 downloads of their computer pages today. Now, the Postal Service and the papers expect to be back on normal, regular schedules on Wednesday. Steve and Margie.
Thank you, Sue. Nice sweater.
Well, the blizzard is keeping the Eagles and their fans stranded in enemy territory.
That's right. They're doing Texas time. The Eagles and their entourage are stuck in Dallas because the airport is closed. Our Bob Brady joins us from Texas with the latest. Bob?
Now, Steve, believe it or not, it is cold here in Dallas, but I'm not going to complain. Neither are Eagles fans who've had to sit here, and they're getting a little bit sick and tired of the city of Dallas. As lovely as it is, you see the skyline behind me, they're at the point now where they're ready to get out of here. But in the true fighting spirit of Philadelphia, they've been able to grin and bear it. Dallas's clear blue sky was a welcome sight for Eagle fans, even though the bad weather back east had them trapped in the city in which their beloved birds were beaten by the hated Cowboys. But with good spirits and perseverance, they made the most of things, taking advantage of the snow-free streets and 50-degree temperatures to see the city and make the best of a helpless situation. So you have to spend some additional time in Dallas, huh?
Stranded in Dallas. Nowhere to go, but we're seeing the sights. They're taking in the city, so do what we got to do.
We're not shoveling snow. It's at least 50 today, so we can hope for the best, get home tomorrow, and start the dig-out process, I guess.
While stranded in Dallas, Philadelphians are taking advantage of some of the city's famous sites by checking out the Texas School Book Depository here at Daley Plaza, where JFK was assassinated.
Well, we just went to Planet Hollywood for lunch, and we're going to go see the 6th floor where Kennedy was supposedly shot from, and the Conspiracy Museum and that kind of stuff.
So you're making good use of your time as much?
I'm trying to.
Although Dallas has this image of being a huge city, it's really not that big. So we're going to the same exact places we've been to on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. In fact, I've seen you more than I've seen, you know.
And seeing the constant reminders of the Eagles' loss doesn't make things any easier, but until the weather clears and the airport's open, no one's going anywhere.
Sorry about back home, folks. We'll try to be back to be with you as soon as we can. Flights have been canceled, but doing our best to get back. But right now, loving every minute of this.
Well, just like us, the fans will probably get out of here sometime tomorrow afternoon, and just like the folks back home, they'll have quite a story to tell about the last 4 days. Later on, we'll have the players' perspective and Bill Lyon. Reporting live from Dallas, Bob Rainey, Inquirer News Tonight.
Thanks, Bob. We don't feel too sorry for you, though.
There is much more ahead on Inquirer News Tonight, including a look at some of the day's other news.
We'll have details on another delay of Officer Laretha Vaird's funeral and the search for the third suspect.
And a walk in the park with Inquirer columnist Steve Lopez, who's poking wicked fun at television coverage of the snow. Also,
uh-oh, look, Ma, no snow. Complete coverage of the storm going out of here next.
How can this be Car of the Year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers, or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
Let me tell you, after being married 12 years, you tend to go through life with a give-and-take attitude. But when he wants a new stereo, and I want a new living room, something's got to give, right? Not when you shop at Siemens. They've got the furniture values we need. So we browse without being hassled, and when we're ready to buy, they deliver within a week. So by the time I have my new furniture, he's still looking for a stereo. But without Siemens, he wouldn't be looking at all.
the funeral for Philadelphia police officer Laretha Vaird, killed foiling a bank robbery last week, has been delayed yet again because of the snow. Services are now scheduled for Thursday, and police say by then there's a good chance the final suspect sought for her death will be in custody. Police believe 22-year-old Mark Canty was armed with a gun and accompanied the trigger man during the botched holdup at the PNC Bank in Feltonville. Police believe Canty is still in town.
U.S. Embassy officials report as many as 300 people may have died today in a plane crash in Zaire. The accident happened in Kinshasa. Witnesses say the Russian-made cargo plane plummeted to the ground just after takeoff. It then skidded about 600 feet into a busy marketplace, plowing into cars and market stalls, and then exploded. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Former French President François Mitterrand died today after a long battle with prostate cancer. Mitterrand served as France's president for 14 years until he was succeeded by Jacques Chirac last year. He was a driving force in the effort to make France a part of a unified Europe and an advocate for human rights. Mitterrand was 79 years old.
Back in our town, we saw the sky lighten just a little bit today. When Inquirer News Tonight returns, Larry will tell us if the sun will make a grand appearance tomorrow.
And our meteorologist, Bill Meck, will find out just how this snow measures up coming up.
Think your four-wheel drive is great in this snow? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And Inquirer columnist Steve Lopez lampoons television news coverage of the big storm.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
How about a little reward?
Are we talking diamonds?
Brownies.
I can eat brownies wearing diamonds.
Introducing Sweet Rewards. Brownies so rich, so chocolatey.
Ooh, go over that again.
You'd never guess they were fat-free.
Fat-free? Oh, that's why they call them Sweet Rewards.
Now all the best of Betty Crocker's in a fat-free brownie. New Sweet Rewards. Fat-free just got a whole lot more rewarding.
Betty ought to get a reward for these. Maybe diamonds.
Urkel's in for some real shocks.
Did I do that?
When Laura's late hours take their toll.
You remind me a little of a movie star. Who? Freddy Krueger.
She wants Steve to cover for her.
Please, Steve. Okay.
But can he fool the big guy?
Can I wake you, sweetheart?
Okay.
And how far will he have to go? We'll find out.
Come on, give us a kiss.
On the next Family Matters.
Tomorrow at 7 on WB 17.
A record 30.7 inches of snow has fallen in Philadelphia.
But of course, there are some who are disputing that number. Now, yesterday was Bill Meck's last official day with us, but in kind of like a Groundhog Day movie effect, he's stuck in town. So we put him to work for us for another day. Joins us now to explain that measurement discrepancy. Bill?
It's Groundhog Day. All right. Hey, this storm we will be remembering for quite some time, no doubt about that. But how exactly do you measure a storm that will become a legend? For all its high-tech gadgetry, the Weather Service still uses an old-fashioned way to measure snow, a yardstick. However, with a dry, powdery snow like this, some controversy can develop as to exactly how much snow fell, especially at a windy place like the Philadelphia International Airport.
It's very difficult to measure snow at an airport. I mean, I've taken observations in an airport, and they're wide open, and things blow around all over.
I'll tell you what, there's one way I measure snow. It's how big the piles are when everything is done. And to be the king of the weather hill here, I'm going to come on back up, sort of. And Larry, why don't you come try and knock me off this hill?
Thanks a lot, Bill. He's an excellent TV meteorologist. Anytime you're out in Indianapolis, watch him on WTHR. Again, been a pleasure working with Bill the second time around. I worked with him before out in Iowa. It was cold and snowy there, too, like we have it here tonight. 17 degrees in Philly, 18 in Allentown. Here's the official rundown around Philadelphia. Outside today, we had some snow, as you know, earlier today. I'm sure you didn't miss it. 26 for a high, 17 for a low. The normals being 38 and 24. Total snowfall almost 31 inches. Outside now, fair and 17, 50% humidity. Barometers 29.79, rising southwest wind 7 miles per hour. Wind chill factor at 7 degrees. And it'll even get colder because we have that massive snow cover and the wind's dying down. Fair sky, terrific combination of loose heat. Take it from Mark Dill in Westmont, New Jersey. He's our WeatherNet reporter for tonight with fair sky, 20 degrees. He had 22.7 inches of snow, and there's more snow in the forecast down the road. But not for right now, because what we have in this radar summary is once again the reassurance that we will get no snow tonight and really for tomorrow. Snow bands pulling away from New England, that's our departing storm. Now you see there is a terrific surge in the upper atmosphere, cold air, strong winds pouring out of Canada, but it's all pushing this storm out to sea. So whatever we get here tonight through tomorrow will simply be fair, at worst partly cloudy. We may get some flurries tomorrow night, that's about it. You see these clouds streaking in from the upper Midwest? They will arrive tomorrow night. I have a forecast for maybe a few flurries, but you won't have to shovel them, at least for now. Nationwide picture has a lot of clouds out west, this 1 week storm plowing in from around Minneapolis. But behind that, you have to be very careful because it'd be very easy to say we wouldn't get any major storms after this one, right? Well, that's not going to happen because in British Columbia and Washington State, this whole disturbance here is congealing, moving south and eastward. That will be in our forecast here Friday into Saturday with wind, cold, snow, and ice. That's right, a big storm coming up by the weekend. Now, temperatures before it gets here, again, cold because of the snow cover, around 34 tomorrow, but a little bit of relaxation, so whatever we have out there will try and melt. Our forecast by Wednesday, again, lower 30s for highs, but more bitter cold Arctic air will be arriving by the weekend. The jet stream forecast is proof, because later in the week, we see a very strong surge of Arctic air coming in from Canada. This storm here is our weather maker for Friday, with sleet, freezing rain, and maybe a lot of snow. This disturbance in Alaska supplies bitter cold Arctic air. That'll start off next week. Here's your forecast starting tonight. Get set for fair and cold and no snow. Low temperature about 9 degrees. Tomorrow, going to be partly sunny and cold. The high temperature around 30. Then for tomorrow night, increasing clouds and flurries late, low 18. Your extended range forecast, the next storm, Thursday night and Friday, a major snow and ice event. Again, Saturday, some flurries. The big problem again will be cold overnight, so don't waste your salt and you're hauling the snow off. Wait till tomorrow. It may actually start to melt.
All right. Where's your sweater, Larry?
What sweater? I didn't get the message about the sweater. I'm sorry. Just being casual. Well, he's biding his time, waiting for the perfect story. He's probably still waiting for the perfect story, but with 30 inches of snow on the ground, Inquirer columnist Steve Lopez is ready for his television debut.
And tonight, Steve takes a critical look at the way all those other TV newscasts like to cover a big snow.
For my entertainment dollar, there's nothing that beats weather news in this area because they're telling you everything you might need to know and more. Like, for instance, they're telling you how to drive. They're telling you how to shop. They're telling you what to wear. You got to have layers. Like you see, I've got layers on here. There's a guy on the news today who's telling you that this is how you're supposed to walk in the snow. I like the idea that basically treating the viewers as if they're complete idiots. Whoa, look at the dog pulling this guy. I always thought that if I ever got my own show and I could do the weather, after telling people things like, if you don't have to go outside, you shouldn't go out, or if you do have to go out, and this is a big one, a lot of people forget this, you should allow more time to get where you're going than you normally do. Well, I'd like to add to that, don't put your hand on a hot burner, you shouldn't run with scissors, and you probably shouldn't store petroleum products near the fireplace. Just some personal tips that I would have. Are you dressed in layers? You have to be dressed in layers or you can't be outdoors. For Inquirer News Tonight, I'm Steve Lopez.
I think I passed him on that square more than I realize now. You know, this is one of those times of year where everyone who bought a four-wheel drive is so thankful they did it. It makes themselves look good, and that snow blower that you probably didn't get to use for a couple of seasons, now you're using, it is good. It's beautiful, too. Next on Inquirer News Tonight, an update of our top story, including a live report from 30th Street Station.
Plus, reports from around the Delaware Valley on conditions in the suburbs.
This portion of the Inquirer News Tonight is brought to you by your local Dodge dealers. Dodge, the more things change, the more they look like the new Dodge.
How can this be car of the year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers, or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
On an all-new Sister Sister, what happens when identical twins double date?
Tonight you're not you, you're me. So stay away from me and don't be you.
You look great.
Why wouldn't I? I'm me.
What? But can they undo this double switcheroo? On the Parenthood.
Guess who?
Robert Townsend's best friend.
Wendell?
Wendell?
Becomes a peeping paparazzi.
Wendell's outside taping us.
But when the whole family's in focus, Robert zooms in on him. Wendell! Wednesday at 8 on WB 17.
Recapping our top story, Philadelphia International Airport has reopened tonight, but no planes are getting out until tomorrow. SEPTA will operate on a limited schedule. Rail and subway service will be much more reliable than buses. We go live now to Jim Sinkovitz at 30th Street Station for the latest travel conditions. Jim?
Margie, it has been very tough on travelers over the last 2 days because of the storm, but things are expected to improve by tomorrow. Already one runway is open at Philadelphia International Airport. A couple empty planes are expected in tonight to carry out some of the thousands of travelers who have been stranded here. 2 flights are expected in tomorrow morning, full flights from Los Angeles and from Las Vegas. All major airlines here say they will resume limited service tomorrow. SEPTA will be running both subways tomorrow. There will be limited train service, and many buses will be running on some of the major routes that have been cleared beginning tomorrow. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to call ahead. Call your carrier to make sure that your bus or your train or your plane will be leaving on time, and give yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going tomorrow because it's going to be slow moving. Back to you.
Thanks, Jim.
Let's get a check now on conditions around the Delaware Valley and beyond.
Inquirer News Tonight staffers have been checking on conditions in their neighborhoods.
This is Byron Scott in Delaware, walking out of my front lawn, which is covered with about 3 to 4 feet of snow. I've been shoveling all morning long, and I'm about to shovel one more time. As a matter of fact, one of our cars is half covered with snow.
Hi, it's Sam Zeff, and I'm in Cheltenham. I have a four-wheel drive vehicle, actually, and tried to get out early this morning. dug out a little bit, but the snow was just too high. It was like trying to drive instead of over the snow, trying to drive through it, and the laws of physics were against me.
This is Wendy Dockenbaugh in Delaware County, and conditions here are still pretty miserable. I live on a side street and have not seen or heard a snowplow since the snow began falling early yesterday morning. The streets here are completely impassable. Most of the cars are not even visible. They're covered with snow. A lot of folks have been out all day trying to dig out from under, but it looks like it's going to be days before things are back to normal here in Delaware County.
This is Gretchen Krafchick. I'm up at Shawnee in Monroe County. Kind of got stuck in the snow after skiing. They closed the mountain around 5 o'clock. The next morning, we got about 23 inches, and probably won't be back till tomorrow.
This is Tony Yates, checking in from Voorhees, New Jersey. Of course, I didn't make it to work today because of the snow. I had at least 2.5 feet of snow in the driveway. And with the spouse out of town, I had to do it by myself, so I was lucky enough at least to find young babysitters who came to watch the kids while we did the shoveling. One thing that was good about the snow is it wasn't packed down, so it was easy to shovel. It's just the amount that you had to shovel, which made it really difficult, you know, because you had to take breaks every now and again and come in and rest and make sure your toes and your fingers weren't frozen, even though they were covered up to the max.
This is Jennifer Lewis Hall in the Caribbean, where it's a balmy 82 degrees. That's right, 82 degrees. Thousands of people are stranded here at the International Airport in Puerto Rico trying to get flights back to the U.S. There's a 2-day backlog of passengers booked on 8 airlines, including U.S. Air, many Philadelphians trying to get home. And they're afraid that when they get in, they may not be able to get to their cars and to their homes. But they do admit that at least if they have to be in a blizzard, this is the place to be, in the Caribbean.
Yeah, we used to like Jennifer.
I want to know if those were reports or excuses.
No, they were real reports. Now, stuck in Dallas is something that would be a bad thing this time of year, despite the sunshine.
Well, when we return, Bob Rainey with the birds, but no one's flying anywhere anytime soon.
And we'll go four-wheeling on the Schuylkill with the U.S. Army.
Tuesdays at 8, he's an outlaw chasing outlaws. A fugitive framed for a murder he didn't commit.
I can't help wondering what life is like for you out there.
I get by.
Lorenzo Lamas is the renegade. And at 9, he's a martial arts master.
I am honored.
Who knows how to get his kicks. Kung Fu, the legend continues. Tough guys doing tough jobs every Tuesday beginning at 8 on WB17.
Old England has a mystery in store for the Bundys.
Miss Bundy, I felt I should warn you about a dastardly plot against your family.
Are they about to become history?
Say your prayers.
Bud meets his distant relative.
Run while you still can.
Want to buy some shoes?
Want to put yours back on?
I think I could stay here forever.
On the next Married with Children.
Tomorrow at 6:30 on WB17.
The blizzard of 96 is so bad, the governors of New Jersey and Pennsylvania had to call in the troops, literally.
Hundreds of National Guardsmen teamed up with state police troopers to patrol the snow-covered region military style.
And our photojournalist Chris Jolissant rode along.
My assignment is I'm on detail today to help the state troopers out with the Humvee so they can get through all this snow and all this mess.
I'm not expecting too many cars to be out due to the fact that the governor has closed all the roads in the state.
It's terrible out here. You can see that what's on their front step is what's out here. Nothing but snow and ice. That's it. The thick of it last night, it was, we could barely get through it. And we've seen a lot of small cars with front-wheel drive or whatever, and they think they can make it, and they were stuck. This is a Humvee. It's military. It's the best four-wheel vehicle the military have to offer right now. And it's very difficult for this. This is a four-wheel drive here stuck.
Every vehicle that we come to, I'll be logging, make sure, give the location, and we'll make sure that a tow truck can get out and remove that vehicle at the soonest possible time for them so that the PennDOT can do their job. I didn't expect anything like this. The weather stations were right about this one.
There's a baby seat in the car. I hope ain't had no baby with him.
You're welcome. No problem. Just watch yourself driving, all right? no bad news is good news. Thank God we didn't have anybody that really needed the state police this afternoon. As far as 76 and 476, it appeared to be an endless trail of abandoned motor vehicles. Hopefully, we could, with PennDOT's help and the local towing agencies, we can remove those vehicles as soon as possible so that PennDOT can clear the roads and people can get back to their normal lives after this blizzard of '96.
Sometimes adversity brings out the best in people, and that was welcome news to passengers on board a SEPTA bus who found themselves stranded during the blizzard of '96. 6 riders and 2 bus drivers spent 17 hours marooned on a Route 47 bus after it got stuck behind an abandoned car on South 7th Street. But not to worry, when they learned of the bus riders' plight, neighbors on the block served up hot coffee and a pasta dinner for the passengers. They even scrounged up some blankets and a deck of cards to keep them occupied until they were rescued. It was no big deal, said one of the Good Samaritans, just good neighbors taking care of people in need. The bus was finally towed free at 2 this afternoon.
Typical of that neighborhood. Stuff like that never happens in Dallas, though, does it?
No,
you know, being nice to the Eagles fans?
Yeah, you know, Larry and I missed the sweater sale together, I guess.
Well, we wanted you to be bookends on the end.
Yeah, well, you know, we do a good job as bookends. Talk about the Eagles. They are stuck in Dallas, Steve and Margie, with all those annoying Cowboys fans, but it could have been even worse. This is a shot of snowy Veterans Stadium today. If yesterday's game had somehow been played here, it would have been one of the most memorable playoff games of all time, but instead, it was in Dallas, where Bob Rainey is staying away from all of our weather woes. Right, Bob?
Yeah, that's right. The Eagles were able to stay away from it as well, but they're not entirely happy about that. I'll have details coming up next in sports.
We know Siemens has the best prices in the furniture industry. We know we have quick delivery. It's a fact Siemens Selection is among the Northeast's largest. But we also know all of that means nothing if you're not satisfied with your purchase. That's why everything Siemens sells comes with our peace of mind guarantee. It assures that your purchase is absolutely risk-free. Because at Siemens, you're not just getting quality furniture, you're getting peace of mind.
On the next Real Stories.
I want you to give me your right hand. Leave your left hand on the car. Leave your left hand.
Louisiana troopers track a renegade runaway.
Get on the ground. In foot pursuit on Bryan Road towards the Bryan Apartments.
Then,
she's saying I assaulted her.
A domestic dispute demands tough counseling.
But tomorrow, you guys are going to have to sit down and you're going to have to decide, number one, if this relationship is over.
On Real Stories of the Highway Patrol.
Tomorrow at 7:30 on WB 17.
Is there anything worse for a football team than losing a playoff game on the road and then having your nose rubbed in it? Well, that's what the Eagles are up against. The Birds still stranded in Dallas for at least one more night, and everywhere they turn, you've got Cowboys fans in the local newspaper, you've got the Cowboys on TV, and that's where Bob Rainey joins us live now in Dallas. Bob?
Yeah, Mike, seeing me has probably been the best part of the trip for the Eagles, but no, it hasn't been a great situation for them over the last few days. Being here and having to go through all this, you can't blame them at this point for just wanting to move on. It was bad enough that the Eagles saw their season come crashing down at Texas Stadium in a lopsided loss to the Cowboys Sunday, but to have to endure another couple of days in the city of their defeat was a little too much to take.
We're definitely not too happy about being stuck here, but there's not much you can do. You know, we're just hoping they get the airport opened up as fast as possible and we can get out of here.
Not the best place to be stuck after a loss, the place that you lost.
Definitely, but at least it's warm and it's not snowing, so, you know, you can look at it two ways.
So for now, until the weather gets better back east, the Doubletree West Hotel is home away from home for Coach Ray Rhodes and his team. For some, the situation is made more bearable because of family and friends who made the trip with them. And a group of more resourceful players took advantage of the free time to climb aboard a van for a trip to the local mall. But overall, the guys say they're ready to put the game in the city of Dallas behind them.
You lose the way we did yesterday. Everybody's feeling bad, mentally, physically, and you know, now we can't get home. I know, as speaking for myself and my wife is here with me, but our child is back in New Jersey, so it's tough.
We had a good season. You know, we were hoping to even go farther, but you know, it didn't work out. And you know, being stuck here doesn't help. But yeah, you know, you just got to look back at everything, and you know, we ended up having a pretty decent season.
They sure did, but once the Eagles get home, they'll have to start worrying about next year. Joining me now is Inquirer columnist Bill Lyon. And Bill, next year seems pretty good with Ray Rhodes in charge.
Ray Rhodes definitely has them pointed in the right direction, Bob, and I think the best thing about Ray Rhodes, and there are a lot of good things about Ray Rhodes, is that he's a realist, a pragmatist. He is not deluded by the success that he's had this year, that the Eagles had. He knows that the talent gap between the big boys and the Eagles is still a yawning one, and he will address that almost immediately. Like a college coach, he'll go out recruiting. He'll be recruiting free agents. And Ray Rhodes is a trump card for the Eagles because the word's around the league now, a lot of players want to come and play for Ray Rhodes.
Yeah, he's going to have to address that the quarterback situation too, huh?
Absolutely. I know for a fact that they'll have a new quarterback, probably two quarterbacks if Rodney Peete isn't willing to take backup pay. They're going to go for a tight end. They're going to go for offensive linemen. They want to get bigger on the defensive line. Hello, Cortez Kennedy. And I expect them to get another cornerback and another safety.
Okay, thanks a lot to Inquirer columnist Bill Lyon. Reporting from a grassy knoll in Dallas, I'm Bob Rainey, Inquirer News Tonight.
Okay, Bob, by the way, we shoveled your car out today, and you'll have it ready for you tomorrow when you get back. Anytime the Sixers are scheduled to play and they don't lose, it's pretty good news. John Lucas and the guys supposed to take on the Orlando Magic at the Spectrum tonight, but the game was canceled with Philadelphia International Airport bombarded and shut down by the snow. The Orlando team plane had to touch down in Allentown, and that's where the Magic are tonight. The game will be rescheduled sometime tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. Meanwhile, these games were all bounced by the weather. Local games all canceled. Villanova at Connecticut, LaSalle at Dayton, that one rescheduled for February 8th, Drexel at Lehigh, and Xavier at Temple. And finally, Coach Phil Martelli and the St. Joe's Hawks went the extra mile today, or in this case about 400 miles, just to get this practice in before tomorrow's big game with #1 ranked UMass. The Hawks were stuck in Blacksburg, Virginia after yesterday's game against Virginia Tech. They left 34 inches of snow in Virginia this morning at about 9:15. They made it all the way back to their home court tonight. The trip normally takes about 6.5 hours by car. The Hawks team bus did it in close to 10 hours today. Pretty good time for the Hawks guy driving that bus today, and they'll be back for the game tomorrow night, 7:05 start.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Coming up, Larry will tell us what the conditions are expected to be tomorrow morning.
That's next on Inquirer News Tonight.
Looking for sunshine, fresh air, and a trip to paradise? Blue Mountain's high-speed detachable quad is ready to take you there. The highest vertical in Pennsylvania. 20 slopes with state-of-the-art snowmaking and excellent night skiing. And their newest mile-long trail, Paradise. Stop standing in long lift lines and come to Paradise. It's closer than you think. Blue Mountain.
Urkel's in for some real shocks.
Did I do that?
When Laura's late hours take their toll.
You remind me a little of a movie star. Who? Freddy Krueger.
She wants Steve to cover for her.
Please, Steve. Okay.
But can he fool the big guy?
Can I wake you, sweetheart?
And how far will he have to go? Find out.
Come on, give us a kiss.
On the next Family Matters.
Tomorrow at 7 on WB 17.
Larry's back now with our final post-blizzard forecast.
Larry?
Steve and Margie, I can't believe it's over. Nevertheless, the snow has gotten all the way down into northern Georgia, and for that reason, the next 2 weeks will be very cold here, colder than normal. In fact, when you wake up tomorrow morning, that will be the same. For tonight, fair and bitterly cold, my forecast. Low temperature, 9 degrees. Wouldn't be surprised to see some zero action out there. Tomorrow morning, mostly sunny and cold, 9 to about 26 at lunchtime. Hey, melting a little bit, 30 and partly sunny tomorrow afternoon. There'll be some flurries tomorrow night. Our extended range forecast here, morning flurries, Thursday into Friday into Saturday, an important snow and ice storm, and then Saturday and Sunday, just windy and bitterly cold. Cold for a while, but no snow tomorrow morning. There you go.
Thanks, Larry. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for joining us, and we also want to say thanks to Chef Anthony at the Holiday Inn on City Line, who opened up the restaurant and fed all of our hungry news staffers last night.
For all of us here at Inquirer News Tonight, the Philadelphia Inquirer and WB 17, good night, stay safe and warm.